What I really think is that Harry makes William look small. He makes William look small. I think that, all their life, William was groomed to be king, obviously. Well, first, he's older than Harry, right? And he's physically taller than Harry, right? And then he was groomed to be king. He's first in line. The whole primogeniture rules in England means that he would be king. And so everything was sort of stacked in William's favor, and he foresaw a future in a specific way. They all did. Harry would be a part of the monarchy. He would marry a wife approved by the establishment, by the firm, and he would become Andrew 2.0. He would be assigned a house like Frogmore, and he would carry out royal duties. And once William becomes king, William will provide Harry and his family with a stipend, and that stipend would be totally at William's discretion. So, William and his courtiers and maybe even his wife would sit down together during meetings, monthly, 3 times a year, triannually, whatever, and decide on the stipend they would give Harry and Harry's wife and family. And now that Harry married Meghan, they all foresaw a certain kind of future because from the very beginning, you had King Charles saying that he couldn't afford to pay Meghan. So the stipend that Harry was going to be getting from King Charles was already reduced. And then once William took the throne, and you have this rivalry between William and Harry and Kate and Meghan, whether imagined, real, whatever, or a combination of all the above, then that stipend that Harry and Meghan were going to receive was going to be very, very minuscule, right? But it's not just about the stipend. It was about the whole thing. They envisioned a world where Meghan would be curtsying to Kate. I mean, these things were already mentioned in the press. They were waiting with wet tongues for those moments where Meghan would be humbled by having this woman with the mother with the dreadlocks having to curtsy to this aristocratic blue blood woman from, the British upper class. And oh, the way they were turning that curtsy into a filthy, dirty rag, it was ridiculous. And I think that they all envisioned a future that was very fun for some members of the royal family and really miserable and oppressive for others. And boy, they were going to dig and they were going to have fun. Those journalists at the end of the day would go out and they would laugh their heads off at, the spectacle that they put Meghan and Harry through, but especially Meghan. Harry, they were punishing him for stepping out and actually bringing Meghan in. It's all his fault. He brought her in here, right? So that's why they're treating Harry this way. I think that, and so this was all, in Kate and William's favor. Harry's choice of wife just made Kate seem so much bigger to them, right? And they embiggened her even more. I mean, that Tatler article backfired, but where they mentioned, the role and the job is you have to embiggen Kate because she walks on water. And of course, William, how much more can you embiggen him? I mean, the last Tatler article that came out for May should tell you that they're still on this mission of embiggening this guy as a leader, as this, as that. A leader who works from home, by the way, and Zooms because, whatever. Look, I think that Harry leaving, right, and not no longer there to shield William from the glare of the spotlight, has really revealed how small William really is, despite all of the trappings he possesses, being the firstborn, being taller, being the next in line to the throne, with all the efforts of the press to embiggen him. You don't really see his bigness really beyond all these superficial things. What has he really done? What has he really achieved, right? And he doesn't even get the pleasure of, you know, holding the purse strings and making Meghan curtsy and Harry beg for their monthly keep. Because what did Harry do? Harry left. Harry got a massive mansion in Montecito that rivals any of their palaces, right? Harry and Meghan are happy. Harry's playing polo, raising millions of dollars for his charities in Africa. Harry is working on the Invictus Games. I mean, look at where, a couple of months ago in Florida, in Whistler, Canada, not Florida, Canada, Whistler, Canada, how amazing they looked, just as amazing as they looked in Florida, right? What has William done to answer that? William and Kate have done absolutely nothing to answer that. Their most interesting story is their absence and Kate's cancer, which to me, is not very interesting, right? But it's these successes that Harry has one after the other. Now he just basically filed paperwork to say that his residence is the United States. And this is in conjunction with his company Travelist, which he formed in 2019 in the UK and which he will be continuing to work on in the US. So this is a third successful endeavor and enterprise and company for Harry. You have Invictus, you have Center Ballet, and you have Travelist, right? Huge successes, you know, reads amazingly in print and in videos. I mean, great PR. The man is actually a mover and a shaker. He's out there doing things, he's out there achieving things, and he doesn't need his father's money. He doesn't need the taxpayers' money. I mean, the British people love to call him a grifter. And I mean, I would take the Harry type of grifter any day over the alternative because he's actually earning his own money. He's sitting down and he's forming companies and businesses to create his own income streams. Nobody is just handing him money to sit at home making Zoom calls, right? I mean, nobody is handing him money to buy his wife's dresses, right? Nobody is handing him money so that he can fly in helicopters from point A to point B. All of William's money is given to him without him having to do anything except at this point, it looks like sit home and work from home on Zoom, right? To me, that's very small when you compare it to his entrepreneurial brother, who's actually out there moving and shaking, who's actually out there achieving things, making things happen, making a difference in people's lives in a real way, raising millions of dollars for his charities. When was the last time William raised $1 million for his charities? What are his charities, actually? I know he has the Earthshot Prize, but I mean, where he gives $1 million to people to do whatever. Who are these people? Which show me one Earthshot Prize winner and what have they actually done that is in the public eye that people can look at it and point to it and say, oh, this is the person who won the Earthshot Prize and this is what this person is doing for humanity. There's no publicity, no follow-up PR for these Earthshot Prize winners. So you don't even know who they are. You don't know what they do. You don't know where they come from. And you're not even sure that you care, right? So if that is his big achievement, I think it's a very small one in comparison to Harry actually raising $1 million to be handed to people in Africa to help them to create their own successes, right? To help them grow their communities, to invest in businesses and to invest in the youth and help them to really, you know, make something better of themselves and their lives and their communities. I mean, this is big, right? And I think this makes William look very small. I mean, is it William's fault? In part, yes. But I do think maybe he just surrounds himself with a bunch of yes men and yes women who don't have any original ideas. And even if they have original ideas, they don't know how to execute those ideas and bring them to fruition in such a way as to showcase exactly what William is actually achieving in the sense of how it impacts the lives of others in a real world kind of way so that the people he helps, you continue to see them and you see the difference he's actually making. There's follow up and follow through, and there's a story that keeps writing new chapters. There's just nothing but fluff and people embiggening this guy, and his whole entitlement because of his birthright. But he hasn't, I mean, look, even his father, King Charles, has achieved more because King Charles is very interested in the environment. I mean, he actually goes about trying to re-rig the solar system in his where he lives in Windsor. He has actually created a town somewhere in England. He created the Duchy of Cornwall's business aspect where they have all these products that they can sell to places like Waitrose. I mean, King Charles, he has condos and stuff like that. This was all his creation. King Charles is an entrepreneur. And if you think about it, his son Harry must have gotten some of that from his father. William is just getting everything, but he doesn't really seem to know exactly what to do with it, right? He thinks small. Instead of expanding, he thinks of contracting. Like he constricts and contracts. He doesn't expand. He's like, oh, I'm going to do fewer patronages with more impact, and I'm going to do that from home on Zoom. Okay, everybody. Okay, okay. And the thing is, no, it's not okay, William. It's not okay, right? It's all fluff. It's all facade, right? It's not true. And Harry makes you look small. I'm just saying.